Hello, people. I feel so excited today again. The last time we've been talking about so many things. We talk about history, but today I'm taking you into a new dimension. Taking you into what I will call democracy in Africa. This is a you are on EducateAfric. First of all, let me say thank you all of you for sharing my videos and keep sharing and sharing and sharing. Please, please, please share my video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just look out for EducateAfric. This is where we keep culture and talk to us about everything that matters to Africans. Now, I talk about democracy. Do you know before democracy came into Africa, we have been having our own traditional rule and governance system. But the thing is, we do not understand that our governing rule and system is what we practice as democracy today. And that's why democracy is not well established and practiced in Africa properly. Now, let me give you a look. If you find out the people who are in some part of Africa, they are there for 4 years, they want to be there for another 4 years, and they find out that they've been there for 10 or 15, 20 years, and they're still being insistent. So what's the difference if you have your king, who is God's own choice, chosen for the land, for the people, to govern the community or the state? So what's the difference? But the difference is the king is chosen by the gods of the land, and the people accept it because it's not elected. They are not elected. They are chosen by their gods. They are acceptable by the people. And there's a power that is governing the king. So when the king don't do what they're supposed to do rightfully, something happens to them. Something strong takes them off the throne. Now we have democracy coming from the Western world. And democracy, when it came to Africa in 1970s, 1960s, 1970 plus, democracy demolished. Can you imagine democracy demolish the traditional rule, our own governance system? And they brought freedom of speech, freedom of association, freedom of all of these. But today, do you think there's freedom of speech in Africa? No. Do you think there's freedom of association in Africa? No. When you associate, people says, oh, that's terrorism. That's illegal association. When you speak, the ruling power gets you arrested. So that's not democracy. And that's the reason why we should be thinking about keeping our culture and keeping our own traditional ruling system, our own governance system, and detach ourselves from the Western democracy because it's not for us and it's not working for us. The way democracy is practiced in the Western world is quite different from what we practice in Africa. So imagine if our kings are the one ruling us and they give us instruction. People tend to obey, people tend to listen, people tend to respect them. And they don't go overboard like the governors that we have now. Many of them go overboard, embezzling money, taking money from the land to another continent. It's unacceptable if that's a traditional rule because the gods of the land will have struck them dead. But that's not happening anyway because we've allowed foreign governance system to overthrow our own traditional governing system. Now, in Europe, for instance, United Kingdom, to be precise, the parliament or the prime minister can never ever dethrone the queen because the queen is chosen by God, is chosen by the people of the land, and they accept her, and she's going to be there forever, and they call them the royal. But in Africa, you can imagine a democratic elected governor can dethrone a traditional king. We are not keeping our culture. Take a look. We are destroying our traditional culture. We are letting go our traditions. Our kings, our chiefs have no power anymore. They are like ceremonial kings and chiefs. They don't have a say in the land. Elected governor, who's supposed to be there for 4 years or maximum 8 years, has the power to dethrone a governing king that was chosen by the land, by the gods, and by the people. These are not elected group of people. They are chosen by the land. And it has been nice before the colonial masters came and distort all our governance system. And that's why we're having troubles all over Africa. Not just one part of Africa, but every part of Africa is having this trouble because we are letting go our own culture. In China, in India, in Arab countries, they still practice their traditional governing rule and system, despite the fact that some of them embraces democracy just to be accepted internationally. The Western world understand what they do or what they are doing by imposing these laws, these systems to you, the things they are imposing to you, the way we practice them, the way we examine them, they don't examine them like that. The system of freedom of speech, freedom of association, freedom of all of these freedoms that they brought to us, they do practice it. We don't. We don't. We still practice democracy like we are a traditional ruling king and chiefs. And that's why people don't want to leave the presidency. They don't want to leave the governorship. So they keep protecting themselves because that's our nature. So now, the reason why I'm saying this, because on this platform, we are talking about keeping culture. Why we are not going back to our traditional system, our culture, and govern our land, our continent, our country the way it should be governed. The way the Almighty God has granted us the power to govern our country. And you will find that there will be peace in the land, in Africa, to Africans. So this is EducateAfric. This is where we keep culture. This is where we talk about keeping informed. So let's inform ourselves. If you feel like you want to talk to me about this, if you feel that there's more for us to deliberate at, just email me on educateafric@gmail.com. And I'll be glad to have a beautiful interview with you. This is Ayua on EducateAfric. I will be seeing you. Just make sure, as African, continue to keep our culture and share this information to all African children, all coming generations. So let us know that we have energy, power, and wisdom, and our culture is rich and beautiful. Enjoy and be good. Keeping culture is what we know how to do here. Bye.